Hey guys, I'm Brandon. Today I'm going to be giving you a tour of my garden here in East Tennessee in growing zone 6B and 7A. If you're not following me on social media already, feel free to do so at Brandon Lark Roberts on Facebook and Instagram. Let me show you around. So I'd first like to get started by showing you guys the front garden, and then we will work our way around through the courtyard and back into the backyard where I can show you the greenhouse and the potting shed. The gardens in general, all of this is still fairly new. It was all put in 2017. When we first started, the grass went all the way up to the house. There was no plants whatsoever. So we've definitely been busy just adding different elements into the garden. The one big thing that I think has been a game changer has been adding the topiaries. And when this garden originated, I did have winter gem boxwoods that I had planted, which is what's here by the steps. And then as time went on and I discovered Vater, I started adding other topiaries, different styles. So that's where you see the double ball here. And just, I really like the formality it gives. It gives a lot of structure, a lot of visual interest, especially from the street. And then as far as the overall space, so this garden is highly composed in all areas of heirloom plants. So that is something that we really included in this garden, as far as different hostas, iris, different odds and ends throughout all spaces. So we were definitely trying to make use of what we had, as well as adding elements and plants that we wanted to place in the garden ourselves, one of which is this massive Limelight Hydrangea. So we've added a lot of different plants to this garden, different elements, to get this the way we wanted it. Definitely added a lot of different plants to give it this kind of wave-like motion. So it comes down from the hydrangea across the Azalea on into this golden globe, and it kind of makes I refer to it as a wave, and it definitely softens up a lot of the view of the house, and it keeps it from looking so hard and sterile. So this is the front. So what we'll do now is we will make our way on towards the front porch. And something I definitely was taking into consideration was I'm personally really big on entrances. So when we were designing this, I specifically designed the grass so it did kind of level out a bit just in front of the front door. So it did give a little bit of a softer edge along through here. So it curves along the front and then cuts back and gives a nice little entrance there. But from the front porch, it carries you off into the courtyard. And this entire area was concrete just last spring. And we started ripping it up and ran all the gutters and drains underneath the ground and put this entire space in. So it's just a year old, and it is by far, as of so far, my favorite space. I love this area. I love the crunch of the gravel. I know a lot of people on Linda's story, she's commented about how people really like the crunch of the gravel, and that is something I really like as well. Surrounding this space is a hedge of Ligustrum, and it's still a little sparse. It's only been in the ground a year, but the Ligustrum will eventually completely bulk up and create a nice private hedge within the courtyard. And this is a space that I never imagined that I would enjoy as much as I do, but I find myself sitting out here more than anywhere else. And I really look forward to how the plantings along the wall will continue to mature and really just enclose this space into a really private courtyard. And we have found the courtyard in general, it faces on the north side of our house. And so it is nice and shaded, and it provides really good things. So one is it allows for excellent pot patina. for whatever reason, the pots on this north side of the house are consistently beautiful. They always pick up a really nice moss to them. Another thing is we have found that my partner, William, has a collection of succulents, and the succulents are thriving in this area. And the third thing are my girls, which is my myrtles. So I tend to keep my myrtles out here on the stairs of the side door of the house, and they are just happy as could be. Happy, happy, happy. So the myrtles, once again, that's something I picked up from Linda, and I've just kind of grabbed them and ran. So I really enjoyed the little myrtles. This one needs a haircut. Just watered them a moment ago. And then as far as exiting the courtyard, this will take you into the back through this thicket of a vine, and will lead you on into the backyard where you have the first view of the greenhouse. But we'll get to that in just a moment. So the potting shed is over to the side, and this is something that we put in 2018 in the fall, and then worked with some of it through 2019 as far as getting it set up. So in doing this, I was very specific. I wanted a functional potting shed, something that I could, get dirty, place things in there, tools, whatever it may be, and have that a functional space, but then also have it really attractive. And I wanted this really old world feel to it. And I know Linda had recently talked about borrowed landscape, and I certainly have that here with the row of trees that my neighbors have, which I absolutely love. So it provides a perfect backdrop for the potting shed. And then continued on along the back, we do have all the different landscaping that we put in. Some more baby gem boxwoods. And we just packed the beds as full as we could get them with a few different things. In this area along the side of the deck, I'm really wanting to redo it a bit next year. We're going to be redoing the decking. So in the process of doing that, we'll be extending the deck out and things will change. But this up here is our deck. More topiaries, a bit of everywhere. Potted hydrangeas, can't go wrong with that. So, last but not least, I will show you guys the greenhouse. So, the greenhouse is a brand new addition. It has been in the garden for roughly a week. Well, I'm sorry, it's been finished a week, but it's been in the garden for about a month now, something like that. And this is something that my brother and I took on as a quarantine project. So the windows were all purchased off of a neighbor probably 8 years ago. She was putting new windows in her house and was going to throw them out, and offered to purchase them from her. Just thought if I gave her a few dollars for them, it will at least motivate her not to throwing them into the trash. So the windows then went into a storage shed and sat there for 8 years until I had something to do with them. And I'm really big on holding on to things, so because one day you might find a home for them. So 8 years later, here's the greenhouse. So the windows completely were refinished. All the glazing needed to be redone on them. So I did learn how to do that. That was a chore. It was a lot of work, but I'm extremely lucky to have a brother who is an extremely talented carpenter, because I could not have done any of this without him. He did an excellent job. So we do have a shelf that runs along the left-hand side of the greenhouse that has plenty of space for different plants and so on. And then as far as the door itself is a 1930s door that came out of a very old home in the area, and we took it, cut it in half, and turned it into a Dutch door with a shelf. Now, in part of the process of making this greenhouse was the space and preparing it. And one of the things that we had to do was level out the area. And in the process, we realized that we were gonna have to dig into the hillside a little bit further than we anticipated. So we did place these really large Lego blocks in here just to secure everything back. And the area behind the greenhouse will eventually be a fire pit area. But along this side, I really wanted these details of these blocks. I just thought they would give a nice crispness just to the crosshair sections of the greenhouse. I think the details are very important on things, so that was something that I was really kind of adamant about. I thought it would look really good. In designing this, I knew that I wanted really large, chunky, just divides between the windows. And I wanted this greenhouse to be just overall masculine in nature. I didn't want this white, dainty greenhouse. I wanted something dark. I wanted something just kind of dramatic but subtle, because I wanted it to blend in. I didn't want it to stand out for the wrong reasons. But this is my greenhouse and my garden. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I hope to see you on Facebook and Instagram. Once again, my handles on there are Brandon Lark Roberts on Instagram and Brandon Lark Roberts FB for Facebook on Facebook. See you guys later.